Clinical. Tell them for 25 minutes.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So we have just a few questions for this interview. So then let's start. So our first question is, what inspired you to do biochemistry?
So, I think that's a very, very good question. Initially, I wanted to be a medical doctor. And when we started over here, we just did 2 years of biological sciences and moved to medical school. So I really wanted to be a medical doctor. I couldn't get a chance because I got interviewed, but I couldn't move on to the next stage. But I really wanted to do something that I could do research so that relates to the human body and be able to translate it onto the bench. So I opted for a science that combined biology and chemistry. So I was very good with chemistry, but I wanted something that could translate to human health, and that really inspired me to study biochemistry because, of course, it combined all aspects of trying to understand the structures of biological molecules, trying to see how they affect diseases and how we can use that knowledge to develop drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics.
So if I may ask, who is Dr. Sarpong?
Dr. Sarpong is, I think, let me say, I'm a faculty at the Department of Biochemistry, so I'm a molecular biologist, and also one of the principal investigators at the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens. I went to the best secondary school in Ghana. I keep saying that it's an Augustine's College, but from there I proceeded to the University of Ghana to pursue biochemistry. Then I did a master's in chemistry and a PhD in biochemistry at the Washington University, St. Louis. But following that, I did a postdoc in clinical biochemistry and came back to Ghana to, number one, impact the next generation. They need to teach the young ones so that they can understand biochemistry to the highest level. Number two, to strengthen labs in Africa so that we can perform research and clinical service to the highest standard. So I do coordinate all of that. I teach a lot of undergraduate classes. I do a lot of research that pertains to reference intervals, research that pertains to trying to develop proficiency testing systems for labs in Africa, and ultimately I do research that relates to kidney health. The kidney is one of the major organs that contributes a lot to hypertension, which is predominant within our population. So I think that says a little bit about Dr. Sarpong.
Alright, Doc, thank you very much. So like you already said about your high school being one of the best around there, can you tell us one of your memorable throwbacks during your high school periods?
Throwbacks?
Yeah.
High school breaks?
Yeah, high school periods.
High school period?
Yeah.
Do you want a funny one or you want
Yes.
something? Funny one?
Yeah.
So I guess as I say, it's in Cape Coast, one of the best schools. Like, I was someone that was academically I was okay, but I think that I was a little bit stubborn. So, the dining hall food wasn't enough for us. So we used to bring our own rice and spaghetti to school, and there was a day that and my friends had organized. So I brought the rice. Another friend brought sardine, then another friend brought the oil. So we started cooking in the music room. Whilst we were cooking, the lights went off. So the rice was half cooked. But then, boys had really meant that rice had to go down. So we walked from the music room to the hospital. So we first went to the kitchen and they said, actually, you guys are bad, but you're not going to cook it like that. So we went to the hospital, they were nice there, they were able to cook the food. But apparently it came out that we were the ones that blew the lights. So, of course, the necessary punishment had to be meted out to it. So, the rice was good. We enjoyed the rice and the sardine, but, the weeding was also good. Enjoy the weeding. But I think the secondary school and college, it's really fun because, you get to experience all of I keep saying, don't just move through the academics. Let the school move through you. So even here, you have to indulge yourself in all the hallways and every floor and everything. So if there's the Mojo Beach, Charlie. Yeah.
So you talk about university and all of that. Like we all know perfect, there is one thing that you wish to go back in time to kind of correct and make perfect and all of that. So should you have the chance to go back in time during your undergrad life period, what's one thing you like to make perfect, like you like to change?
I think that, and I've always been thinking about it, you know, I had a very, very good life a year ago. It was so good. I don't think that Dr. Jimmy taught any of you guys, but, you know, when he was teaching us, his classes started at 7:30. 7:30, there's always a quiz. Like, but it's not like every day, but and you wouldn't know when the quizzes are. So, you know, and that time phones were very scarce. The communication was great. So 7:30, you hear that Jimmy is doing a quiz, so we have to wake up, somehow run, speed, you know. But you know, it was a lot of fun. But the one thing that I think that I didn't do a lot was those extracurricular activities, because it really improves your networking, you know, your networking abilities. I've always been thinking about, should I have joined the university's brass band, because you know, I think that it gives you some skills that academics are not going to teach you. You know, those very, very top skills that you can easily try. And of course, you are going to be stressed by academics. You guys know it already.
Yeah.
You study a lot, and you know, at times you push and the thing is not going into your brain, right? So you know, being involved in these extracurricular activities, I think, is so important. Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I wish I had paid a lot of attention to.
So thank you very much. You spoke about brass band. Is this something that you already had interest in that you would have loved to join, or you just had to develop interest for it, like the time being?
So I used to be in the brigade when I was a younger person. But when I got here, I thought everything was about academics. So you know, of course, you know, I know how to sing. My voice really sucks. But it's something that I had a passion to join, but I just you see, I'm just thinking about your question. That's something that I should have corrected when I came here. I wish I could have.
Thank you.
Okay, so during your years of teaching biochemistry, do you have any student that you remember that stood out? And do you have any few reasons why that student stood out?
I think I've come across a lot of students. You know, academically, there have been a lot of students that really stood out. Research-wise, there have been a lot of students that stood out. But there's this guy that is, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names. Or I should just
you could mention.
But you know, there was this student called Benjamin that just academically he's so like he would challenge you, and that's what we faculty we like. You know, we just don't like students that we are teaching, and you know, we just come and give the apple. If the apple is apple, feel cry. You know, you're going to show that apple. But you know, we need students that will also be able to read wide, be able to challenge the lecture, so that you know we can always make sure that we are getting you guys the right information. So that guy was just academically very good, but he also had this zeal and enthusiasm and resilience that whatever it takes, you know, he's going to get to the destination that he had to go. So he had to pass through other parts. And he's currently, I think, a 10th or 4th year PhD student at Stanford University.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Stanford University. Yeah. Like, he's a guy that, you know, when he was going for his first interview for PhD, they had invited him to come to California. And I said, oh, it's COVID time, you know, I don't think they're going to give me the visa. He's like, Dr. Sarpong, I'm going to go try it. He tried, they gave him the visa. He went for a week in California and came back. Like, that's how, you know, zealous and resilience that guy, that, you know, he knows that even if there is no door, he's going to make his own door. And I think that, you know, that really stood out.
Okay. So, do you have any advice for anyone in terms of furthering biochemistry? So, someone would like to do medicine, or someone would like to do masters or PhD. What's your view on this?
I feel like, you know, with the current situation, getting an advice is very, very good. I'm impartial as to the route that you take. Because for me, I train as a biochemist, but I didn't do my master's in